Perhaps you think that Jesus looked like this, or 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 this. Point is, all of these photos have one thing in common. Jesus has long, luxurious hair. But is that the case? I'm Aiden, and welcome to A Pastor's Life for Me. Some days ago, I came across this picture. It's a modern rendition of what Jesus probably would have looked like. It is a little bit too movie star-ish, but that's for a different video. The point of the picture is to show that Jesus was not this white man with blue eyes like how he is often depicted. So upon seeing this photo, I went to the comments to see what other people thought. Most agreed with me that they made Jesus look too pretty. But there are also many comments stating that the artist had made an error because Jesus' hair was long. Was it though? Where exactly do we get this concept from? Well, I don't know where it originated from, but I do know a common mistake that occurs. And some suggest that this mistake is where the origin comes from. There was a vow that one could take under the Mosaic law known as the Nazarite vow. This vow was a way for one to separate themselves before God for a period of time. They would start the vow by shaving their heads and not cutting their hair again until after the completion of the vow. They also could not drink alcohol or vinegar, couldn't have grapes, go near any dead person, and some other stuff. But the thing that we're focusing on is the hair. This vow was the reason why Samson had long hair, and also the prophet Samuel. In both of their cases, this vow began when they were born. So as they grew up, their hair would have gotten very long since it had never been cut. Well, what does this vow have to do with Jesus? Well, Jesus was a Nazarene, meaning that he would have had long hair, right? Well, unfortunately, no. It is true that Jesus was a Nazarene, but that's not the vow. It's a person who lives in Nazareth. It is a Nazarite vow, and a Nazarite is one who has taken this vow. This is not to be confused with a Nazarene, who is a person from the city of Nazareth. It is a Nazarite vow, not a Nazarene vow. This is a very simple and easy mistake to make because the words are so close. I see this error made all the time, and even during Bible college, there were occasions where I would hear students arguing this. So if you've ever made this mistake, so have a ton of other people. Jesus was a Nazarene, not a Nazarite. But couldn't he have been both? There is no law stating that a Nazarene could not also be a Nazarite, so couldn't Jesus have been one? Again, no, and there are many reasons why not. A Nazarite couldn't eat or drink anything from grapes, couldn't have any alcohol or vinegar, or go anywhere near a dead body. If a Nazarite broke his vow, he was then required to shave his head as a symbol that the vow had ended. But all those things that a Nazarite couldn't do, Jesus did. In Mark chapter 5, we read about Jesus taking Jairus' dead daughter's hand and raising her from the dead. There, he touched a dead body. She was dead, and thus it would have broken that vow. At the Last Supper, Jesus drank the wine. He says in Mark chapter 14, verse 25, "Truly I say to you, I will not drink again of the fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new in the kingdom of God." Meaning, Jesus had a drink that came from grapes. So it's impossible for Jesus to have been a Nazarite, at least during his ministry. Why is this important? Well, if you argue that he was, you also argue that he would have broken his vow. And breaking a vow like this would be considered a sin. So did Jesus have long hair? Probably not. He would have been like every other male in Israel of that day, and they traditionally did not have long hair. Here's a picture from several years ago of what Jesus could have potentially looked like. And this one, I believe, would be far more accurate than this newer one. Just an average Hebrew man, nothing that stands out about him that we should pay attention to. Just an average Jew of his day. Another point that people make is that Judas had to pick Jesus out from among the disciples, meaning he was an average man, and having long hair in that day and age would have stood out. So could Jesus have had long hair? I suppose it's a possibility, but I don't believe so. It's highly unlikely. Just remember in this whole discussion that Jesus was a Nazarene and not a Nazarite, and so there really isn't any biblical basis to say that Jesus did have long hair. That's all for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel, make sure that you have the bell notifications on, and give this video a like. And until next time, remember to know the word, do the word, and share the word. But as always, we do it in love.